Order up! Welcome to a brand new episode of the Order Up Podcast right here on wherever you may listen to your podcast. I've been expanding the podcast, so we're a little bit of everywhere. Talking SoundCloud, Spotify, Anchor, Google Play, Pocket Cast, Apple Podcasts. We're a little bit of everywhere. We're continuing to grow. We're going to continue to expand. So, on this brand new episode of the podcast, I've decided, what should I talk about for the 10th episode of the Order Up Podcast? So, I was thinking, going through it, I had an idea. I was going to make it a Facebook status, but I figured, you know what? Why not just talk about it on the podcast? So, we're going to talk about Chipotle. And I know you probably read the title of this podcast, like, Taryn, I love Chipotle. Why are you saying it's trash? I love Chipotle too. I remember when Chipotle first kind of started, I didn't go there initially, but after I went there a couple of times, I became hooked. But after their food illness outbreak that they had, I didn't go as much because, you got to protect yourself at all costs. But Chipotle is trash, not their food or the menu or the menu items, but the actual design of Chipotle's menu is very much trash. And I'm going to tell you why Chipotle's menu is trash. Because the menu of a restaurant is supposed to kind of sort of it's a story. It's kind of a walkthrough of what the restaurant offers. So it kind of before you even talk to any of the coworker or any of the staff, you look at drinks, anything like that. The menu gives you an idea of what the restaurant offers. If you look up on Google, if you look up on Yelp or wherever you may review your restaurants, that's what the menu is supposed to do. It kind of gives you a general idea of what the restaurant offers. So even if it says Italian, you're expecting Italian food. If the name of the restaurant has seafood in it, you're expecting seafood, things like that. And the menu kind of shows you, okay, what they offer. Chipotle's menu is trash because it doesn't really explain to the customers what the hell is going on. Like if you look at Chipotle's menu, it tells you the meats, it tells you like tacos or burritos, or it doesn't even say, I think it says bowl too. It gives you the calorie count and it gives you some other BS, but it doesn't really tell you like what the toppings are and things like that, or kind of how the restaurant works. So if you're a first time customer at Chipotle, you're kind of confused. Cause I remember the first time I went to Chipotle, me and my best friend went and we went there and I was just like confused because the menu doesn't really tell you anything. And so I remember when we went, I was like, hey, just give me whatever you're getting. And then the more I went to Chipotle, I kind of started to experiment and figured out, okay, this is how it works. But just from the get go, like it's a very bare bones menu and they're doing really well. They do catering now. They're really popular and they're expanding all over the place. And they do like I think their end of the year revenue is pretty fucking good. Like they're really legit and they've really established a great business model. But the menu is so trash, and I don't understand why who said that was okay. It's such a minimalistic menu. You don't know what to do. Like it says tacos, okay, but how many tacos do you get? Like it's not a traditional taco restaurant, and I guess as I'm talking about tacos, I should probably talk about this at the same time. Chipotle's tacos are overpriced as fuck. Like they're overpriced as fuck. We all know it, and they're not the biggest tacos in the world. And then I get annoyed where I work because people come in and ask how big are your tacos, and the shit blows me. It's like a pet peeve of mine. Like if you actually watch me, like if you're actually in the restaurant and you hear someone say how big are the tacos, if you look at my expression, I probably always roll my eyes. I always deflate a little bit because I hate that question. Because at my job, we sort of stand like we're a taco restaurant. We do tacos and burritos, so our tacos are standard size. I get it. Chipotle is such like an anomaly. They're such like an abnormal thing. You don't really know what Chipotle really does. And they do burritos, so burritos are kind of like their focus. But then, oh yeah, we can do tacos. We can do tacos for you. But there's like, I don't even want to talk about that anymore. But yeah, like what they offer, they don't really explain it. Like if you go in Chipotle, like brand new, you're kind of confused and then they have an assembly line, kind of like what Subway does. They have an assembly line, so you start at the left, or like you start at wherever it starts, left or the right. This depends on how their kitchen flow is set up. But you start at the beginning, and they ask, "Oh, what can I get for you?" What if you don't know what you want? What if this is your first time here? You're trying to look at the menu, kind of give you a guideline, and there really isn't much of a guideline. Like it doesn't say like okay, it does like what they should have done is how the line is set up. That should be the menu. So the menu should say like first step. Do you want a burrito, a bowl, or tacos? That should be like the first part of the menu. The next part could say, oh hey, Do you want rice? We have white rice and brown rice. Then the next step should say, oh, we have beans. We have pinto, black beans. I think that's it. Or is it another bean? I don't remember. I know it's pinto and black beans for sure. No, I think it's pinto and black beans. Or do you want fajita veggies? Their menu should actually correspond to the kitchens, to how the line is set up. That would make way more sense, and it would tell a better story. So you kind of look at the menu really quickly. You kind of go, okay, I want a burrito. Okay, I want maybe brown rice. Oh, pinto beans. It kind of makes sense. Instead, the menu telling you not a goddamn thing. Like, the menu doesn't say a damn thing about anything. It's so bare bones. But you have to go through the line to actually learn what Chipotle offers. And their guac is overpriced too. Like, I'm not paying $2 for that fucking guacamole. I'm just throwing that in there. Just side note, I'm not paying $2 for that shit. Like, and they barely give you any guac. Like, fuck that. Uh, but it's just their menu. Like, it should tell a story, and that's how their menu should be set up, because it would make more sense. So if you came in, if you're brand new Chipotle, you can kind of skim the menu, and you get an idea of, okay, these are the steps. Okay, this is what they offer. These are the steps. A place that kind of does, they do it. They're kind of a minimalistic menu too. Is Blackwood Barbecue. They're very similar. They don't have a lot of options. They only have like 3 meats. It's like pork, chicken, and brisket. You can do them as like a platter, a sandwich. I think there's one other option I can think of, but they're very minimalistic and they don't tell a whole lot either. But you can kind of look at it, and the staff kind of goes along with you, and they say, hey, like, which barbecue sauce would you like, and things like that. But Chipotle is so big and they're so expansive, they should have kind of had this shit ironed out from the get go. So yeah, like, the menu should actually tell the story of kind of how the restaurant flows. Because if you don't know anything about Chipotle, you're confused as fuck. Like, you're just confused. You're not sure what you want. If you want a burrito, if you want a bowl. Like, they think they have like the calorie counts of everything. It's like they it seems like they focus more on, oh, look at the calories. Oh, look at this, but not the actual like flow of the menu. Like, okay, how do I get to where I want? Like, you might not, like, if you want a steak burrito, you don't know they got steak. You don't know that they offer, or I think they say it says on the board, we really offer steak, but you're like, it's just weird. Like, it's just kind of confusing because it doesn't say, like, it's just, I'm just not a big fan of it. Like, and then, like, we go down the line, so you get through, like, you get through, like, your rice, you get to, like, the beans, fajita veggies. Then you go down, you pick your meats. They have 3 meats and, like, chorizo, and then you go that they have, like, queso now. I don't like their queso either. I think their queso's too sweet. That's just, I don't know. I get this weird sweet aftertaste from Chipotle's queso. That, again, this is just me venting on Chipotle at the time being, and their queso's too fucking expensive as well. But I digress. And you just kind of go down the line, and it's just like, okay, it's cool. And they offer, like, like the sauces. You have mild, medium, hot. You have like lettuce, cheese, corn. The guac is at the end. And that's kind of much it. Like chips. Like Chipotle, you can kind of do nachos in a way. They don't offer nachos, quote unquote, but if you got a burrito bowl and you got a bag of chips, in turn, you can do nachos. Just throwing it out there, just in case you're intrigued by that. Just throwing it out there. And they have queso now, so there you go. See, you learned something from Order a Podcast. You learned that Chipotle has nachos. But yeah, and I was just going through, and I just realized it was just funny. Like, I never realized how trash Chipotle's menu was until the more I went through, the more I realized, like, if you don't know what you're looking for, you're completely fucked. Like, you're just screwed. And I think the real reason why I came up when I really acknowledged that was I went to Epic Burger a couple of months ago, and they do a really great job of kind of breaking down their system. Like, I was looking at, like, okay, I kind of, since I work in a restaurant, I worked in restaurants, I've been to a shit ton of restaurants. I kind of get the general layout. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this, this, and this. But then they're like, oh, actually, this is kind of how it works. You start with it, like, you start with an Epic Burger, you add cheese to it. I imagine they charge for cheese, but again, I digress. But it's like, oh, here's your Epic Burger. You can pick this cheese, and this cheese. Oh, you can do, this. You can add an egg to it. You can double it. You can do this. Like, and they kind of break it down, which is really nice. So if you're new to it, they kind of walk you through it. Basically, they tell you what type of bun would you like, and it just it works. It's really nice. It's very customer friendly. It's a good quality of life thing. So if you're new to the restaurant, they kind of walk you through it a little bit, which is cool, which I like personally. And then Shake Shack does the same thing, where Shake Shack can seem kind of overwhelming, but the cashiers, I used to work at Shake Shack, full disclosure, and do a really good job of kind of teaching you how the system works and just kind of explaining along with you as you go. So you get to where you need to go. We don't kind of like they don't leave you hanging. Like if you're new and you're not really sure what to get, the employees will kind of help walk you through it, and it's really nice. Chipotle kind of just kind of like fuck it, you should know what you want. It's just kind of weird. Like I thought, and then there's that disconnect between kind of the staff and then the customers. Because if you don't really know what you want, this is your first time coming to Chipotle, they don't really guide you through it. Even like Subway, you can kind of wing it because like you pick a sandwich from Subway, it's gonna come with certain things, and then you can ask like, oh, like what are my cheese options, and then break it down to you, like what are my bread options. Like, you can kind of like you can see it, or where if you've been like you always start with the bread and you kind of go down the list. Like you pick a sandwich, pick the bread, you kind of go down it, and you kind of get asked questions as you go. Chipotle kind of just leaves you hanging. They don't really walk you through it. They don't say like, okay, these are our bean options. You have this and this. If you like this type of food, you might like this. You like this, you might like that. It's just kind of very much like, oh, pick a burrito, pick beans, pick rice, pick a meat. Like they don't even offer you fajita veggies. They just kind of go, if you want them, like, oh yeah, like I want that. Oh, you want salsa? Like okay, like what are your sauces? Like they say mild, medium, hot, but it's like, oh, corn, lettuce, black beans, sour cream. Sour cream is the other thing I forgot to mention in the line setup. It's a pretty straightforward line. It's just they don't guide you through it as I think they kind of should, because they don't really give you a lot in the menu to really. There's nothing you can really read ahead. Like you can't read ahead for Chipotle. And you gotta go there. And if they're busy, you're fucked. Like if you're busy and there's like 15 people behind you that are like they know what they want, and you're kind of like, well, shit, I kind of want do you have wait and then the employees they're gonna be annoyed. They're not gonna show you that they're annoyed. I guarantee you they're annoyed because they're like, fuck, why don't you know what you want? Believe me, working in a restaurant, you get annoyed by people that kind of do that. Like you want, like especially like when it's busy, when it's slow, you can cater to people a lot more. And personally speaking, like when it's slow in a restaurant, I try to give above and beyond service, because a lot of times when you go to a slower restaurant, like they don't care as much. Like when it's fast, you get your food hot, ready, because they don't want to deal with extra people. But when it's slow, people kind of take their time, they chill, they be on their phone. I try to negate that as much as possible, so I try to just be on top of my game. When it's slow, when it's busy, it doesn't matter. And yeah, in Chipotle, you can just kind of tell like the workers get kind of annoyed when like if there's someone who doesn't really know what they want, there's like 10 people behind them, and you're like, and there's a lunch rush, Monday downtown Chicago. You're like, come on, man, we're trying to get through this. But like Chipotle is not bad food wise, but their menu just needs some work, in my opinion. They do well, so clearly they figured out something. But I just think their menu could use a little revamp, and it should be a little more customer focused, and just kind of help people out. Just give them kind of a general idea of what like how it works. And of course, if you go to Chipotle 20 times, you know what you want, you know the system, you know how it goes. You kind of hit it and leave. But if you're new to Chipotle, you're kind of sort of just left on an island. It's like what can I get for you? I'm not really sure what I want. But anyway, this is going to be the newest episode of the Order Up Podcast. Thank you so much for supporting it. This is going to be episode 10. So we're 10 episodes deep into the podcast. Thank you so much for supporting it. Keep sharing it, liking it. Of course, you feel free to give me suggestions on what I should talk about. If there's a restaurant you don't like, if there's a restaurant you do like, any games, comics, anime, whatever you have under the sun, kind of the Digital Chef logo is this combination of food, and gaming, and anything under the sun, every nerd culture thing. There's a convention coming up you want to talk about, you want me to talk about my convention experience. If you think I should cosplay, which I will one day, just not right now because your boy is a little bit busy. But just let me know. Like, you feel free to send me comments on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, and let me know what you think of the podcast. Like, if you've enjoyed listening to it. I do want to do like guests for the podcast, of course, because there's other people that have their own opinions, and I want to get their opinions as well. We can just kind of kick back and laugh and talk. We might drink and just laugh and have a good time. So anyway, thank you so much for supporting the podcast up to this point. Thank you so much for listening to this brand new episode of the Order of Podcast. And I will see you in the next podcast. I'll see you in the next video. Later.